Joining us now, without further ado, Patrick Hughes, the Illinois conservative candidate for the U.S. Senate. Patrick, great to have you with us.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk about this because name ID is a lot in races like this, and the primary is coming up really quick. On February 2nd, Republicans turn out to vote in what I hope is going to be a large turnout for a primary. Oftentimes the numbers aren't very big, but turnout is going to be something that is going to be critical for you. How do you hope to get your name ID up so people understand that Mark Kirk is part of the Rhino Republican class that got Republicans in trouble in the first place?
Well, three ways. We've got a tremendous grassroots effort that we've been putting together over the last 4 months, and that's getting the message out every day. Certainly, we've gone on television with our advertising and spending money and raising money to do that. And, of course, through outlets like yours and others that allow us to talk about the message. There's a difference here, Laura, as you know, between Reagan Republicanism, conservatism, which is what I represent, and what Mark Kirk represents. He is Nancy Pelosi's favorite Republican. He voted for cap and trade, like you mentioned, which in my state will wipe us out. We're an industrial Midwest manufacturing farming state. He was against the Iraq surge for political reasons. He's in favor of partial birth abortion, if you can even believe that. He co-sponsors hate crime laws. He's against gun rights. He's a radical environmentalist. And this is a battle between where we're going to go with Barack Obama's seat. Are we going to put a Reagan conservative in that seat and win the primary and send a message to folks through 2010, or are we going to go with what I call Nancy Pelosi light, which is what Mark Kirk is? Now,
Kirk has been what he describes as a moderate Republican force, and he would say that despite what some of the more recent surveys are showing, namely that more people are identifying themselves as conservative in Illinois than anything else. In fact, 72% of voters I know in your own internal poll say that they're conservative. 45% say they're very conservative. He said, look, I am a good fit for Illinois because Illinois is not Arkansas. Illinois is not South Carolina. We have a different approach to issues, and it's not the straight, hardcore conservative approach. So Mark Kirk, in that vein, fits perfectly. That's what he'd say.
Well, he's not a moderate. I know he tries to portray himself as that. I think he's far left of being a moderate, and on fiscal issues, cap and trade prove that. I think that the conventional wisdom that in Illinois we need a moderate to run statewide in order to win isn't true. The last Republican to hold this Senate seat was Peter Fitzgerald. He was a conservative. And with the Tea Party movement and the 9/12 movement and what happened with Bob McDonnell in Virginia and how close we came in New York 23, the mood of the country is changing back to Reagan conservative values. The base is going to be gone for Congressman Kirk because he's so liberal on so many issues, and I think that I can put together the base, get it very energized. It's already getting energized in the primary, and then reach out to what I call good government Democrats and independents who have been sold a bill of goods, Laura, by the Democratic Party in this state. We're at 11% unemployment. We're about to send our second governor to prison, and people want new leadership, a new voice on reform and on economic issues. I think that's the right message in the general election. So any conventional wisdom that says we need a moderate to win this state is absolutely wrong, in my opinion.
You know who consistently say this? The people who consistently make this claim are the same people who pushed John McCain to be the nominee for the Republicans in 2008. They're always telling the Republican Party to go moderate. Those people, for the most part, aren't conservatives, or they're Democrats. And this, well, and Republicans keep buying a pig in a poke here with this, oh, we've got to be more moderate. Meanwhile, the country's saying, save us, rescue us, we want money in our pockets, not in the pockets of Pelosi and Reid and, frankly, Mark Kirk, to do nothing but eviscerate wealth creation in the United States of America. And let's be very clear about what this tax on carbon would end up being. And it is a tax on carbon. It is a tax on everything we end up buying in the United States of America. And that means, Illinois, you have a target on your backs there in Illinois because you have manufacturing and agriculture critical to your state. And they're going to slap yet another burden on the hardworking people of Illinois. It's insanity.
It's remarkable, Laura. You said it absolutely so well. What we need to do is have a new generation of politicians that adheres to the traditional economic and social values that are laid out in your 10 for 10, which I've, of course, signed and supported, that will lead this country back to prosperity. Look what's happened over the last 10 years since Congressman Kirk has been in office. Our unemployment's gone up. Our structural debt and deficit for my children and the children of America is going up by the minute. And our establishment Republicans are telling us, oh, let's just keep electing the same old folks and have business as usual. This is the time for it to stop. My race is the first opportunity for conservatives across this country to send a message to the establishment and the moderate and liberal establishment in the Republican Party that enough is enough, that we want to take our nation back, that we want to lead it back into prosperity, just like Ronald Reagan did coming out of the winter of the late 1970s and the Jimmy Carter malaise. And we can do it if national conservatives and people in my state get behind my candidacy, and we can lead and put a Reagan Republican and Barack Obama Senate seat. And won't that be terrific?
I'm standing up and cheering for you, okay? If I didn't have to host a show, I'd be standing up and cheering for you. I like what you're saying. I like your spirit. And one thing, Patrick, that we definitely need from conservatives is passion. The ability to communicate with the American people about the issues that they care about most. And right now, when you hit on it, we are basically at a point that is quite similar. When you talk about the mood of the electorate to 1978, 1979 in the United States of America, where too many people think we're just in a state of decline, that we live too fat and happy and our day is kind of come and gone, and, well, we just have to live with it. America's not going to be number one anymore. And meanwhile, we have these Democrats like your would-be Democratic challenger, and I'm talking, of course, about Alexei Giannoulias, who is the state treasurer. And I would say he lives up to a long line of corrupt politicians in Illinois. And we go from Roland Burris to Alexei Giannoulias with the ties that you can elaborate on these. But Barack Obama apparently doesn't have any problem with the background of Alexei.
It is a shame. Alexei Giannoulias is an extraordinarily young, inexperienced guy who's the treasurer of a near bankrupt state, and it was made that way by the Democrats, and then, of course, the weak Republican establishment that was in place beforehand. And what these guys try to do, Laura, is they try to not let my message and your message get out to the voters, because when it does, it will resonate, and then their little deals that they've been able to make, their little structure that they've put together will be broken. Even in my own party, they don't want me to win. They want Kirk to win because they know that then everything stays the status quo. And that's what they want it to be. But that doesn't serve the American people. That doesn't serve the people of Illinois. And it's time for us to have, and I call it all the time, a Reagan Renaissance. Not just one man, this great man Ronald Reagan, but all of us across this country, from myself down to Marco Rubio and everyone else across the board, Scott Brown, people who are making a run at this and representing our values. If we do that, this country will be great again. If we don't stand up today, then I fear for our future and the future of my three beautiful children. But I have the sense, Laura, and I know you have the sense too, that we're going to do it starting today and moving forward in my primary and others, and then in the general election come November.
Well, here's what I think. I think that, Patrick, the Republican Party has a chance to get it finally and right the wrongs that obviously took place and mistakes that have been made, and they got off course, and they have a chance. If they don't turn it around, then they're going to end up having some third-party challenge from somebody who says, look, I am the new Renaissance. I am the new way of doing things. I am for scraping the barnacles off the bottom of this very, very crusty old ship. And heaven forbid if that happens, because if that happens, we're going to just be handing another election to Barack Obama, and it's going to be over. So this is a time for new blood. And Patrick Hughes, we're just delighted we had a chance to talk to you. I'm putting the word out for people across the state of Illinois to think about this race very carefully. You know what Mark Kirk stands for, and cap and trade. We know what that's going to do to our economy, especially the good people of Illinois, who frankly need a break from the same old type of politics that involves just amassing power in Washington, D.C. And Patrick Hughes seems to me to be the answer to our political woes in the state of Illinois. And Patrick, I wish you nothing but the best. You have a wonderful way of speaking. I, for one, am a tough judge, and I'm very impressed. I appreciate it very much, your message. Please keep in touch with us. We'll do what we can to push you, my friend.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate being on. God bless you.